The techniques shown in this video are going to be familiar to you if you've used Photoshop CC for any length of time, but it's worth running over them again. So what we've got here is an animation frame, and the canvas is 600 pixels wide by 300 pixels high, and I've got the rulers open at the top and the side. I'm on a Windows system, so I can use Control R to hide the rulers. Let's change the focus here, Control R, and again Control R to make them visible again. I've got them measuring pixels. We use right click to choose from various options for these. Doesn't matter which one we right click on, but we definitely want to be choosing pixels. And I'm going to bring in some guidelines. So let's start by bringing in a guideline at approximately 300. Doesn't have to be exactly 300 pixels in, and release. Another one at 150, more or less, and another one at 450, more or less. So we've divided the horizontal length of this frame into 4 pieces. And we're going to use the pen tool to bring in a ball and make it bounce, but we're going to do this over a couple of videos. I'm going to add 2 more. So 75 pixels, 225 pixels. I'm dividing the distance between these 150 spaced pixels, 375, more or less, and finally 525, again, more or less. Okay, so now we've divided it into 8 sections. And I'm going to go to the pen tool. So I can click on the pen tool over here, or I can just hit P and bring in the pen tool. Where's our ball going to come in? Let's say it's going to come in, I don't know, 50 pixels down from the top left corner. So I'll click here and hold the left mouse button and drag. And to constrain it to a horizontal axis, I'm going to hold down the Shift key and stop at 50 pixels. So if you look at the top ruler, you'll see there's a little dotted line moving back and forth and tracking my cursor. When I get to about the 50 pixel point, I'm going to release, and that's good. So I've got a horizontal handle that is 50 pixels wide. Now I'm going to click, just click, not drag, at the bottom of this guide. And we got a nice little bounce path coming in. Okay, so let's go to the next bounce. The top of the next bounce, well, the height, the proportion of the height of the previous bounce is going to depend A, on how bouncy the ball is, and B, on how hard the surface it's bouncing off is. But I'm just going to say, let's make it 2/3 high. So I'm going to take it down to about here, just eyeballing it. And again, left click and immediately drag, hold down the Shift key, and because we started around about 150, I'm going to drag the handle out to around about 200. Okay, release the left mouse key, release the Shift key, and again, just click down there. About 2/3 again on the 300 pixel guide. Left click, drag, hold down Shift, take the handle to about 350, release the mouse button and the Shift key, click down at the bottom here. And finally, well, this ball is getting a bit tired, or maybe the surface is softer here, maybe it's sand instead of concrete. So I'm going to pull this way down at the 450 level. Again, hold down the Shift key, drag out to 500, and click here, and then just click over here and hit Escape, just to get out of the pen tool. So we've got what looks like a reasonably convincing series of bounces, and the ball is going to roll out to the other side. Let's make a new layer, and I'm going to call it Bounce Path, and enter. And we're going to stroke this path. How do we stroke the path? Well, for one thing, it's going to be useful to have the path panel open. So let's go to Windows and Paths. And we get a work path in our paths panel. I'm going to drag paths up to the top of the layers panel and just drop it when the entire layers panel turns blue, when it's got a blue outline. I'm just going to drop it here. So now I've got two tabs I can work with. Okay, this is called work path. Let's right click on it and stroke path. Tool, pencil, let's use the brush, and we're going to be using the existing color, the existing foreground color, and the existing brush size. And I actually forget what brush size I have here, so let's just click OK. Oh, and that's not too bad. If we wanted to have it a different width, what we would probably do is hit B for brush and right click and just choose maybe a different size, and then click off the canvas. Once again, right click on work path, stroke path, use the brush, and now we get a much more bold path here. Okay, very good. I think we're good to move forward. What I'm going to do is just delete this work path, and I'm going to delete all these guides, or at least hide them. So I go to View, and let's just clear guides, and we're good to go. So File, Save As, Bounce Path 02, PSD, Save, and we're good to move forward to the next part of the ball bouncing exercise.